Objection. Ew.
More freak-off tapes.
Diddy. Perv.
Diddy is loving every second of it.
Freak-offs. King night. Hotel night. Wild king night.
She was hot and bothered.
Licking his lips. Gross. Rubbing his hands together. Ew. This is what he wrote. These are his trial notes. Straight out to the Monaghan Federal Courthouse, standing by is Tisa Tells. Tisa, what happened today?
They're also showing even more freak-off tapes, and Diddy is loving every second of it. He has been licking his lips. He has been begging for more time. Today, he got so flustered from what was being shown on screen, he leaned in, got flustered, took his glasses off, leaned in closer, dropped things on the floor. Diddy is having a little bit too much fun for my taste. To get
Okay,
this man.
wait. Freeze, halt. Repeat. I know he was licking his lips, gross, rubbing his hands together. Ew. You said he took off his fake glasses and did what?
He leaned in closer and he got so discombobulated because, listen, last time he was just watching Cassie and a man. Today it was a new freak-off tape where there were sex workers, plural. She was hot and bothered, leaning in, getting the full view, got so flustered he dropped stuff on the floor, picked it up and got right back to the screen. But I guess this was the all-star Kobe Bryant, Shaq, Shaquille O'Neal dream team Shaq Attack playoff that he always made all his victims subjugate themselves to.
Troy Slayton, don't you tell your clients how to behave in court? The last thing that this jury needs to see, as far as the Combs defense team goes, is Sean Combs licking his lips. I'm not even going to demonstrate that. Licking his lips, rubbing his hands together like he's getting to the good part of like a James Bond movie. He's rubbing his hands together and visibly, excited. Is that a decent way to put it? Watching the freak-off with the second love of his life, Cassie Ventura.
Although I appreciate your interpretation of Mr. Burns from The Simpsons, rubbing your hands together, Nancy, every eye of the jury is on the defendant. They are analyzing every single thing that he is doing. And of course, as a defense attorney, you are telling your client to wear certain clothes, to look a certain way, to not comment too much, to not whisper to them, but rather to write things down during the proceedings. Yes, every single juror has their eyes on the defendant during a trial.
I think I found out what Sean Combs was writing, and his defense attorney, made him stop writing it because the jury might see it. According to our sources, this is what he wrote. These are his trial notes. So that's why he suddenly quit taking notes. Okay.
That's some crack reporting, Nancy. Defendants write things all the
Slayton,
time.
Come on. Can't you keep him from oh, wait a minute. I've got more for you. Isn't it true, Tisa Tells, that while the new freak-off video is being played, he starts shaking his leg uncontrollably? Like a dog scratching itself.
Whatever these defense lawyers told him to do, it has gone out the window because Diddy sees the only thing that dominated his life, a perversion for the last 10 years, played out in front of him. And let's be serious, Diddy is probably overdue for a freak-off. So this is Christmas in July, truly, for this man.
Now joining us from the Monaghan Federal Courthouse is Lauren Conlon, star of Pop Crime TV on YouTube, investigative reporter. Lauren Conlon, thank you for being with us. What's your takeaway of what happened in court today?
The first thing in court this morning that Judge Subramanian wanted to discuss was the verdict sheets. The defense and the government both submitted their verdict sheets, and although they appear to be somewhat similar, the styles were very different. The defense wanted the jury to be able to write in what they felt Sean Combs would be guilty on the different RICO predicates. And the judge said, yeah, that's kind of asking for a disaster to have the jury write these predicates in. So they're going to resubmit these forms, I believe, by Wednesday. And then they should discuss the charges on Wednesday morning. And the defense also said that they wanted the not guilty on the left side versus the right side. And the defense also discussed their case in chief this morning where we heard that it was actually only going to be between 1 and 2 days now. At first, they thought it was going to be between 3 and 5. Now we're hearing just between 1 and 2 days. And it sounds like what they're going to do is bring in a lot of evidence, a lot of text messages, a lot of emails versus witness testimony. Now, they're going to be also isolating different witness testimony from the government, specifically witness statements that were conflicting during previous government meetings as opposed to what they said on the stand. And they'll be doing this via stipulation. And they're working on this behind the scenes with the government so that, again, their case goes as fast as possible. And they're aiming for closing arguments this Thursday. So will they be on track? I guess we'll wait and see. So Special Agent Joseph Cerciello continued his direct testimony, and we finished this morning. It took quite some time, over 3 hours, and this was the quote-unquote Jane era. Special Agent Penland really, she discussed that the Cassie era, and Special Agent Cerciello, he moved on to Jane. The date range for Joseph Cerciello's testimony with these charts and with these graphs, it was 2021 all the way up until 2024. Now, some of the information that we heard, we already knew about. We saw these texts before. We saw Jane discuss a lot of them, but there was something in particular that the government really added context to this morning. And this was text messages between Jane and Diddy about a New York trip that she was going to take, where she first tells him via text that she doesn't want to take this trip. She doesn't feel good about things. She feels like he uses her, and she had heard him on this podcast bragging about going on a trip and having sex for 48 hours with another woman. He said, call me. They get on this call, and then we see text messages very shortly after where Jane kind of says, okay, I'm going to come to New York. And then Diddy tells KK, okay, it's all good. Jane's going to come to New York, et cetera, et cetera. And what Jane had told us on the stand is that Diddy told her she wouldn't be required to do any type of hotel nights or quote unquote debaucherous nights. It would just be the two of them, and that was that. Now, what we saw today through the special agent was that right after Diddy hung up with Jane, he immediately texted Paul Arthur, who was an entertainer. And then when Paul wasn't available, he immediately texted Bridget from Cowboys for Angels. So this was, in my opinion, directly relating to the fraud aspect of the sex trafficking. He told Jane one thing, hung up the phone, and then did something else. The jury also saw about 14 different clips that were explicit. So these were sex tapes involving Jane, Cabral, and Diddy. And the special agent pointed out that these were the three people that he saw repeatedly. That doesn't mean that they were the only people in these tapes, but that's who he saw specifically. And I have to tell you that the jury didn't seem to have the reaction that they initially had with covering the eyes and appearing to be a little bit taken aback. They were very stoic. It was by the fourth clip that one of the male jurors looked a little annoyed. He kind of took his glasses off, rubbed his eyes a little bit. An older woman on the jury, she kind of had this look, resting her hand like this, like, is this over yet? And I think for today in general, it was a lot of text messages between Diddy and his staff, coordinating women, coordinating hotels, Diddy and his staff getting cash. After these hotel nights, we'd see a correspondence between Diddy and Jane. Diddy really seemed to take a liking to this one, quote, entertainer, Paul Arthur, because he would text him things like, quote, I wish you were here. Texts from Guido, someone named Guido, about drugs, an assistant, texting Diddy pictures of drugs. And we also saw a text message for the first time from Gina to Diddy. And it was interesting timing because it was October of 2023. And this is when Jane really spills her guts to Diddy saying, I need a break from you. I am sick of doing these loveless sex acts, et cetera, et cetera. And she's really trying to break up with him. And he's saying, whoa, 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 let's talk about this. You know, I don't need you to be with anyone else. You only have to be with me. Meanwhile, we see that he's getting a text from Gina saying, hey, babe, the car is ready. So this guy really seemed to juggle a lot of women. And then we also saw another instance where Christina Coram was texting him that one of his women, KT, who I believe is Young Miami, Carisha, couldn't be in the VIP section for one of his shows because Jane was there and the VIP section was too small.
Joining me right now, special guest Rob Shooter. You know him well. He is the host of Naughty But Nice, Awesome podcast, former publicist, PR guru for Sean Combs. He came to his senses and quit after a couple of years. I don't think he's successful on his own. No offense, but I think he's been successful and managed to stay out of trouble this long, largely because of enablers like Rob Shooter. Okay, not Rob Shooter, because you did come to your senses and quit. But all the people that buy him illegal drugs, the drug mule that testified, the bodyguard that physically dragged Cassie Ventura back to a freak-off, the other minion assistant that got immunity, that hopped in the car on a gun ride to look for Suge Knight. It goes on and on and on. The accountant that explained in an email, idiot, how to get Cassie's parents to send extortion money. I mean, all of these people enabled him to become what he is now. The more famous you are, the more you don't know the word no. He is describing to Conan O'Brien on national TV how he sends his minions ahead of him to, quote, prepare the sexy. But what the sexy has turned out to be, according to the state, is forced rape, sex trafficking due to coercion, drugging, beatings. Is he that arrogant, Rob Shooter? He's basically on live national TV bragging about freak-offs, aka King Night, aka Hotel Night, aka Wild King Night. All those women, multiple women, including some minors, claim that they were drugged in their drinks and they wake up with their vaginas and their rear ends hurting, obviously having had sex without their knowledge or consent.
Nancy, this case is not that hard to anybody who has been paying attention. Now let's see if the evidence can stand up to one of the most famous, rich, successful people in the world. Diddy is used to getting his own way. His money, his power, his celebrity has given him a life that we can never, ever imagine. Let's see if this is the end of it. I think we all know where the evidence is pointing.